Start chapter number 3 and its name is metals and non-metals. Now let's do the quick revision of important topics of chapter 3. You have studied about the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Now we will focus on the exceptional cases of metals and non-metal. Everybody knows that metals are hard in nature, but there are few metals which are liquid in state or they are soft, that is liquid in state, that is mercury. And some metals which are soft instead of hardness, they can be cut with the help of knife and having low density and low melting point. Then most of the time it is asked, name the three metals which can be cut with the help of knife. That is the lithium, having symbol is Li, and sodium is Na, and potassium is K. These three metals which exist in the soft, which are soft in nature, and they can be cut with the help of knife. And other metals having the most of the metals have high melting and boiling point, but few metals which can be melt at very low temperature, so they have the low melting point which can be melt on the palm, and these are the gallium and cesium. Now let us study some exceptional cases of the non-metals. Non-metals are mostly soft in nature, but they do not have any sound, they are not lustrous, they are not good conductor of electricity, but few exceptions are also here. So non-metals which is lustrous in nature, that is iodine, and non-metal which is good conductor of electricity, that is graphite, this is allotrope of carbon. And a non-metal which has very high melting and boiling point, that is diamond, this is also allotrope of carbon. Now we will study about the chemical properties of metals. Chemical properties of metal that you have to keep in mind: any metal which is kept in the oxygen, then it reacts easily and form metal oxides. For example, magnesium ribbon, when it is burned in the presence of oxygen, then it form metal oxide, that is MgO, magnesium oxide, which is white powder. And similarly, metal react with the water. Any metal, when this react with the water H2O, it form also metal oxide, but hydrogen gas is produced like magnesium oxide plus H2. Sometimes there are the three conditions in which metal react with the water. Water exists in the three form: cold water, hot water, and steam. So according to the reactivity of the metals, very reactive metal like lithium, sodium, and potassium, they immediately react with the cold water and they produce hydrogen gas, and they can also catch fire. So it is always, these three metals are always kept in kerosene oil so that they cannot come in the contact of water and oxygen, because they are explosive in nature. And another property, chemical property of the metals are that metals, when they react with a dilute acid, they form salt and hydrogen gas. For example, zinc is the metal, when it react with sulfuric acid S2SO4 dilute acid, then it is converted into zinc sulfate, which is salt plus H2. And H2, how can we identify the presence of hydrogen gas in any reaction? Then when you bring, for example, this reaction occur in the test tube and fumes arises here, then we bring a burning candle near it, then what happened? A pop sound is produced here, and this pop sound shows that hydrogen gas is present in the test tube in this reaction. Now other nature of oxides which was formed by the metals during the water reaction with the water and the oxygen. So metal oxides are always basic in nature. You can always keep in mind the one example, that is magnesium plus oxygen, when it is converted into magnesium oxide. Why it is basic in nature? Because when magnesium oxide is treated with water, some water is mixed in it, white powder and the water, then it is converted into magnesium hydroxide. So magnesium hydroxide is basic in nature. So metal oxides are basic in nature because they turn red litmus paper into red instead of blue litmus paper into red. Non-metal oxides are always acidic in nature. Then you can give so many examples. As the name suggests, acid, you have heard about the acid rain. What is acid rain? Because some pollutants are present in the air like carbon, sulfur, nitrogen. When they react with, when non-metal oxides are acidic in nature, then react with the oxygen, then they form carbon dioxide. sulfur dioxide. When fuel is burned, then these pollutant form nitrogen dioxide. So when the rain falls, then rain falls means water is added into this form the carbonic acid H2CO3. Similarly, this is sulfurous acid H2SO3, and similarly water is added here, then it form HNO3, nitric acid. So many acids are formed. So carbon is a non-metal, sulfur is also non-metal, and nitrogen is also non-metal. So non-metal oxides which are formed after burning in the presence of air, these metal oxides are acidic in nature. Next, there are the few exceptions are also here. Some metal oxides which behaves like acids, as well as they also react with the bases and they produce salt and water, and these are called amphoteric oxides. Similarly, there are the two examples. One is aluminium oxide, other is zinc oxide. When aluminium oxide react with the acid, it forms salt, aluminium chloride and water. Similarly, aluminium oxide react with the base, so sodium hydroxide, then it forms sodium aluminate and water. Salt, this is also salt and this is water. So metal oxides which react with the acids as well as bases, they form salt and water in both the reactions. So they are called amphoteric oxides. Now you have heard about the reactivity series. As the name suggests, there is a list of metal which are arranged in the order of their decreasing activities. Or reactivity series has been developed to form by performing the displacement reactions, because without knowing the reactivity of the metals we cannot identify which reaction is happening or not. So displacement always takes place on the basis of the reactivity of the metals. Like if we keep we take a test tube, and in the test tube we put copper sulfate solution that is blue in color, and then we keep a nail of iron overnight. We keep the test tube overnight, then this nail, that is iron, when we see in the morning, then iron react with the copper sulfate that is blue in color, then it is converted into ferrous sulfate that is light green color, plus copper is removed and the iron nail is covered by the brown color layer, that is copper. So in this reaction, iron is more reactive than copper. So iron displaces copper from the copper sulfate solution and make the ferrous sulfate solution, and this brown layer will deposit on the nail, iron nail. So arrangement also takes place, and in this some metals are arranged in the decreasing order of activity. Like aluminium is more reactive than zinc, zinc is more reactive than iron, iron is more reactive than copper. Now next important topic that always come in the boards or in the pre-board or the different school examinations, that is the ionic compounds. Ionic compounds, as the name suggests, when there is a compounds which are formed by transfer of electrons from a metal or to a non-metal are known as ionic compounds. For example, in this compound sodium chloride, here sodium is a metal and chlorine is non-metal. If we see the atomic number of sodium, that is 11, chlorine having 17, then its electronic configuration is 281 and its configuration is 287. Then sodium can remove one electron and give one electron to chlorine. So here sodium, the valency of the sodium is 1, and chlorine also has 1 because it has 7 electrons in its outermost shell, and it needed only 1 electron to complete its octets. So sodium can become stable only when it leave 1 electron or can lose 1 electron and give this electron to the chlorine, then it becomes sodium positive ion, and chlorine when it take 1 electron, that is called chlorine negative ion, and they form the compound that is sodium chloride. So there is a transfer of electrons from metal to non-metal, and these are compounds are called ionic in nature. Always electron dot structure of these compounds always come in the paper. So magnesium chloride is also there, then you have to write the electronic configuration and then put the valence electron in the outermost shell, and then you see here 2 electrons are lost by magnesium, 1 each to the chlorine. So magnesium ion and chloride ion, and there is a chloride ion is written like this because 2, it is multiplied by 2 because 2 chlorine are required to satisfy the magnesium having 2 electrons in its outermost shell. So do the practice of these electron dot structure of the ionic compounds. Now, what are the properties of ionic compounds? Ionic compounds are solid in nature and hard. Solid means they are hard in nature because they have the strong force of attraction between the ions. Second point is, if they are strong, they are hard, then they require more amount of energy to break down the strong force of attraction between the ions. So they have high melting and boiling point. Third point is, generally all the ionic compounds are soluble in the water because they dissociate into ions, and when they dissociate into ions there is a movement of ions, and due to the movement of ions they conduct electricity in the molten state. Always remember, in the molten or aqueous state only. Ionic compounds always conduct electricity in molten and aqueous state, not in the solid state. For example, if you have sodium chloride in the solid state and there is one sodium chloride is in the aqueous state, in out of these two, which conduct electricity? So obviously sodium chloride in the aqueous state will conduct electricity, because when water is added in it, then sodium chloride is converted into sodium ions and chloride ions, and these movement of ion is the cause of conduct of electricity. So these are the four properties of ionic compounds, and these are the important topics of metals and non-metals. Then there are a few questions on this basis. First question is, name the metal which can easily cut with the help of the line. I have told you three metal: lithium, sodium or potassium. Non-metal which is good conductor of electricity, that is graphite. Oxide of the element X was found to convert red litmus to blue. So X kya hai? What is X? X tells that is the red litmus to blue means basic, and metal oxides are always basic in nature. So X is a metal or non-metal. Which one? It is a metal, because metal oxides are always basic in nature and non-metal oxides are always acidic in nature. What happens when the zinc granules are added to the sulfuric acid? So you can write this reaction: zinc plus sodium sulfuric acid converted into salt, zinc sulfate plus hydrogen gas is released. You have to write this reaction. Why are ionic compounds good conductor of electricity? Because ionic compound, for example NaCl, MgCl2, because in the aqueous state they converted into ions, and movement of ion is the cause of conduct of electricity. Next question, what do you mean by the understanding by the reactivity series? So arrangement of the metals in the decreasing order according to the reactivity, that is called reactivity series. You have to arrange. There is a one formula. Popular scientist Cunning, popular means P potassium. Popular scientist Canning made a zoo in London, PB, hot city, made up of silver, gold and platinum. ये इसके below आएगा. Now this is the reactivity series. This is the decreasing order of the reactivity. It means potassium is more reactive than sodium and calcium. Then you have to arrange these four metals according to their decreasing order of activity, or you have to identify which one is most reactive among them. So you can identify zinc. Where is the zinc? Zinc is here, and copper is here, second position. Aluminum is above, and iron is this. So aluminium, you can identify aluminium is more reactive than zinc is more reactive than iron is more reactive than copper. So most reactive metal is aluminium. So always remember this formula: popular, P for popular, P for potassium, popular scientist, S sodium, Canning calcium, made magnesium, Mc, aluminium, A, zoo Z, Zn means zoo, in means iron, London, Pb, lead होता है Pb, hot, H, hydrogen, and hot city, C means copper and C for city, made up of silver, gold and platinum. Silver, gold and platinum are unreactive metals, so these are used to make jewelries for the daily purposes. And these are the different topics that are covered in the chapter number 2, metals and non-metal. I hope you understand the concept and do this question in your notebook. Keep watching Super Vigyan. Thank you so much.